Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Coming up tonight on Our News, welcome news for some as unemployment assistance will be extended to the end of June. Why the House Speaker says it's the last straw for him, plus how the government is working to get more doses of COVID vaccine. Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, government has extended unemployment assistance to the end of June, according to State Finance Minister Kwesi Thompson, who made the revelation during an announcement with the University of the Bahamas this morning. Kyle Joaquin has more.
Christina, this wasn't meant to be an announcement made today, but during a press conference, we sought to ask the State Minister for Finance, what is the government's plan for continued assistance for the unemployed?
The government has agreed to extend the unemployment benefits at least until the 31st of June.
It comes as good news for those still at home amid the COVID-19 pandemic. While it may not seem like much for some, State Minister for Finance Kwesi Thompson says there are still those who need the assistance, which moved government to extend until the end of the fiscal year.
We will be making some further announcements in terms of the way forward with respect to unemployment during the budget exercise.
Just a few weeks ago, National Insurance Minister Brensel Roll said government spent over $300 million keeping the unemployed afloat during the pandemic. And the economic rebound is slow, with hotels and other businesses reopening, but at a much slower pace than expected.
We are seeing, though, with the opening up of hotels, with the opening up of travel, with the activities that are happening, we are seeing people going back to work. But the government is still committed to ensuring that we provide the necessary assistance for those persons who are unemployed.
Financial Secretary Marlon Johnson says the government's third quarter financial snapshot should be released to the public sometime next week. Thompson's revelation came during a press conference where an agreement between the University of the Bahamas and the Ministry of Finance was announced for a 90-day study to research the level of economic growth needed for the country.
To determine policy measures that generate growth figures. Such figures are likely to produce positive trends in the country's economic and fiscal metrics. Understanding these trends will lead toward greater economic stability and sustainable growth.
Models to be developed by GPPI will be specific to the Bahamas and based on our unique economic background and expertise. These improvements can promote better prioritization of limited resources and more relevant and attainable growth results.
For Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Well, the House of Assembly meeting for mere moments this morning, but that did not stop the drama from unfolding. House Speaker Halson Moultrie abruptly adjourning proceedings after he accused the executive of disrespecting his authority in Parliament and suggested that he's prepared to go to war over the issue if necessary. Jasmine Brown reports.
The House Speaker giving his fellow MPs an airful this morning, moments before he abruptly adjourned Parliament.
This, to me, was my final straw when it comes to the disrespect of this institution and disrespect of the office of the Speaker.
The Speaker, who has repeatedly petitioned for the independence of Parliament, says the events of the day represented the final straw. Moultrie says he reached out to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis and Bamboo Town MP Renwood Wells, who is the leader of government business, following confirmation that a staffer had contracted COVID-19.
Staff of the Parliament were assembled in these very chambers, waiting for answers. We got one response in one word from the member for Kalani, and that was noted.
He added that the House of Assembly had yet to be sanitized since the chief clerk contracted COVID-19.
Despite the Speaker indicating that the staff of this Parliament should be in quarantine as a result of them not being able to take the COVID test, many of them, Ms. Lightburn is called upon to be here this morning. in breach of the request or instructions by the Speaker that the staff should be in quarantine.
Moutry also accusing the government of not adhering to its own COVID-19 protocols, citing the fact that there was no physical distancing amongst most MPs.
We establish a certain physical distancing within this Parliament. The Speaker announced those protocols, and some authority who believes that they have jurisdiction over the Speaker's jurisdiction in this legislative branch has caused numerous chairs to be added to this assembly.
Now he says he's fed up.
I don't necessarily pick fights or wars. But if you want a war, you can get a war. Pursuant to Rule 88, subsection 9, this Parliament is hereby adjourned to the 3rd of May at 10 a.m.
Dr. Minnis previously informed the House that he read books of war. As for Rule 88, Section 9, it reads, in the case of disorder arising in the House, the Speaker may, if he thinks it necessary to do so, adjourn the House without putting any questions or suspend the sitting to a time named by him. Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, following today's short session, Progressive Liberal Party Deputy Leader Chester Cooper says he's concerned about the relationship between the executive and the Speaker. Berthany McDermott has that.
PLP Deputy Leader Chester Cooper left stunned after hearing the House Speaker's remarks today, adding that the abrupt adjournment gives the impression that there is disorder between the Speaker and the executive.
Whilst to me the bigger issue is the public health concern and the insensitive and lack of compassion of the Prime Minister, I think this discourse about war and the relationship between the Speaker and the Executive and the Prime Minister needs to be addressed forthwith.
The Exumas and Ragged Island MP asserts that Parliament shouldn't have met today, adding that if it were up to him, it wouldn't have convened, especially when the Speaker got no response from the PM and Leader of Government Business.
So to hear the Speaker talk of how he asked the Minister of Health and he asked the Prime Minister whether the staff of the Parliament could be tested for free at government clinics was most pathetic.
He didn't stop there. He added the revelation that Moultrie needs approval from the Prime Minister to sanitize the Parliament is most pathetic.
To risk parliamentarians and to risk other public servants and the press for that matter, in the absence of testing, further testing, in the absence of sanitizing the Parliament, is insensitive, but it's also irresponsible, and it shows really a lack of compassion, a lack of concern for the public health protocols.
The PLP has supported the House Speaker's calls for more autonomy in Parliament. Cooper also lamenting the fact that more than a year into the pandemic, the idea of a hybrid Parliament still hasn't been addressed.
We have not yet put in place the type of protocols for a virtual Parliament or an alternative site for Parliament. We haven't been very proactive on this issue. So the world of work has changed. People are working from home, students are learning from home, but the leaders who are supposed to be progressive are still stuck in the dark ages.
Now Parliament is set to meet again on May 3rd. When asked if the opposition plans on attending that meeting, Cooper said they will meet and make that decision. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Well, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says it will take more than just vaccines to get the Bahamas out of the third wave of COVID-19.
So important that we all take stock, look in the mirror and realize that we're in this together, that adherence to the public health measures are critically important, that vaccination is critically important, and that testing is critically important. But we have to do this all together. This is not about finger pointing, this is not about recrimination, this is about Bahamians working together to avoid the collapse of our health system.
When asked if it was wise to rely on the vaccines to tackle the recent surge, Dr. Sands said this.
Vaccination is a critical part of the fight against COVID, but so is prevention, So the public health measures, social distancing, mask wearing, hand sanitization, avoiding large crowds, and treatment. And so until we get access to 200, 300, 400,000 more doses, maybe 1 million doses if we're lucky, then we are going to have to rely on public health measures, which are very effective even against variants.
Health Minister Renward Wells said outside Cabinet on Tuesday that the Bahamas want some of the 60 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine the U.S. government has promised to share with other countries. The White House announced on Monday that it will share the extra doses with other countries. Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield.
We recognize that they have given they've made some donations to Canada and some to Mexico. We continue to ask for the same level of benevolence demonstrated toward these countries to us.
Henfield says he has been in contact with his U.S. counterparts about the issue.
We have asked, last week we had a meeting with the Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, where this point was stressed not only by the Bahamas, but by several other Caribbean countries that attended the meeting.
The Bahamas has received 53,600 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine to date, and the rollout of the vaccine was quickly ramped up to include more people, including those over 18. Our Jillian Gray has their take a little later. A mix of rain and sunshine in the capital today. Greg Thompson has the details over in the Weather Center.
Thanks, Christina, and a happy Wednesday evening, everybody. A very warm evening setting up on the outside again. Temperatures are in the mid to upper 70s. We're currently at 77 outside our studios with few clouds, and it's warm. Easterly winds at 8 knots. Your feels-like temperature still in the mid 70s. Satellite view around the area. We are quiet around the island chain as a high-pressure system out towards the Atlantic is bringing in a nice stiff easterly flow. That's bringing in some Atlantic moisture across portions of the Bahamas, so we could see a couple of spotty showers later on tonight through early parts of tomorrow. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, will the injunction preventing government from evicting shantytown residents be extended? And a 52-year-old woman faces drug charges. Plus, a little later, why some younger residents are getting vaccinated. That and more when our news returns.
Did you know that there are more than 5 ways to pay your Rev bill? Number 1, save yourself the hassle and sign up for e-billing. Have your monthly bill paid automatically. All you have to do is call or email your Rev agent to sign up. Number 2, visit any Alive location. Our agents are standing by and ready to assist you. Have your account information ready. Number 3, use MyRev at my.rev.bs. To create an account, all you need is an account number and an email address. Number 4, there's an app for that. There are a number of apps that you can use to pay your Rev bill like you do other utilities, including the MyAlive app and the MoneyMax app. Number 5, pay by phone. Call our hotline at 601-2200 or toll free at 242-300-2200 and follow the prompts to enter your account number and credit card information, all using your touch-tone telephone. 100% private, 100% safe. That's all, folks. Rev, you and us, together.
A decision on whether an injunction preventing government from evicting shantytown residents will be extended more broadly to Abaco is delayed again. Jared Higgs has an update from the shantytown trial.
Grant telling the court that she will deliver a decision on whether an injunction preventing government from evicting shantytown residents would be extended more broadly to Abaco on April 30th. The court also formally dismissing an application by Gregory Bowe that the shantytown judicial proceedings be set aside. In the written ruling, Grant Thompson said she would no longer allow the intended applicants to distract from the hearing of the substantive application. She added, "I'm reminded of the old adage, justice delayed is justice denied." That application by Bowe, brought forward by attorney James Thompson, was an attempt to insert local government into the shantytown matter. They submitted that the local government representative should be allowed to make representations. After Thompson repeatedly asked for his clients to be heard, Grant Thompson wrote that the intended applicants were rapidly moving into a class of vexatious litigants. The judicial review, brought forth by 177 shantytown residents and Respect Our Homes Limited, seeks to prove that government's policy of demolishing shantytowns is unlawful, unconstitutional, and motivated by ethnic discrimination. Government has argued that the devastation brought about by Hurricane Dorian proves that order needs to be brought to the unregulated communities. Last week, government bulldozers demolished 45 incomplete and unoccupied structures in the farm shantytown in Abaco. Human Rights Bahamas accused the government of creating another humanitarian crisis on the island of Abaco and ignoring the rule of law. The matter continues on Friday. Reporting for Our News, I am Jared Higgs.
A 52-year-old Grand Bahama woman today appearing in court on drug-related charges. Lucida Elizabeth Wells of Inagua Avenue was today charged with 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs with the intent to supply, and conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs with the intent to supply before Deputy Chief Magistrate Debbie Ferguson. Wells was granted $3,500 cash bail and is required to sign in with police every Monday and Thursday before 6 p.m. She will return to court on July 7th for trial. When Our News comes back from the break, why younger residents say they're getting vaccinated, plus is trouble brewing in the local football community. The details when Our News returns.
Every new season of On the Record, we push the limits. Venture into unknown territory. We take our cameras into places unseen before. We share the stories and experiences that affect us all. And now it's time for Season 5. On the Record, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on RTV Cable Channel 212 and streaming live on Facebook on the Our News Bahamas page.
This is Our News. Welcome back. Vaccine sites on New Providence have seen a slight uptick in the stream of young faces coming to get vaccinated since residents 18 and over became eligible for the jab. Jillian Gray has more.
I think it's a good idea because it helped me, and I don't no longer have to keep getting tested every single week, and it helped me to feel more safe and encouraging knowing that.
That's Christian Major's take on getting inoculated. He's a computer science major at St. Benedict's College in South Carolina and says mandatory weekly COVID screenings at his school was becoming overbearing, along with the strict rules put in place.
We now have curfews. We have to keep distance, only one person to eat at a table. We can't have any parties, can't go in other people's rooms.
Major was one of many young people walking into Loyola Hall on Wednesday to take the vaccine. As of Monday, residents 18 and older were eligible to receive the COVID-19 vaccine.
I would encourage anyone to, especially the younger persons, to come out and get vaccinated, and so we could possibly go back to some type of normalcy and eventually eliminate the mask.
Not everyone was so confident, though. David Munker says he was nervous up to the time he arrived.
I had so much misconception about the vaccine itself. I really, even this morning coming here, I was like, well, I wonder if I should take it. I was calling as many people as I know who have had it and asking them. The main reason is because I would like to see the world get back to normalcy. I want to be able to visit my mother and sit in the same room with her.
These residents say they are taking the vaccine to help fight the pandemic together.
COVID is obviously here for a while, and I feel if we're going to fight as a community, we need to take steps together.
I think it's something that down the line that we need to do for the country to get back to normal.
From the appointment process to actually taking the shot, residents say it was a fairly smooth process all around, and they're looking forward to taking their second dose. According to health officials, the second round of the AstraZeneca vaccine will be given out beginning May 10th. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
Well, the Bahamas Football Association says there's no unrest in the ranks. Meanwhile, Grand Bahama sports facilities get an upgrade. Marcellus Hall tells us more.
All right, thanks, Christina, and welcome to our sports on a Wednesday, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Well, yesterday we told you about a story that was ongoing in the Bahamas Football Association, one that talked about some possible unrest, in particular amongst the executive. Well, I had a lengthy talk, as I told you, with the president of the Bahamas Football Association, Mr. Anton Seeley, and he assured me that there is no unrest. In fact, things are running smoothly. There are just some things that are going on within the ranks that have nothing to do with the executive or potential unrest. Of course, we'll continue to follow that story and give you more details if indeed they do present themselves. In the meanwhile, however, seems as if everything is certainly okay within the ranks of the Bahamas Football Association. On to some other news now, where we have some word coming in from Grand Bahama, where the upgrades to the island's sporting facilities continue. Highlighted in the House of Assembly recently by the Minister of Youth, Sport and Culture, Iram Lewis, both the track and field stadium and the YMCA swimming pools have received upgrades. In the case of the track stadium, those upgrades have come in the form of improved seating in the grandstand area, making it possible for spectators to enjoy the track events in a much more comfortable manner. As for the improvements at the pool, those take place on the technical side with the installation of new timing touchpads. Those will pave the way for more accurate timekeeping during meets, especially as our athletes look to make qualifying standards for international competition. All right, so that's our check on sports for you here this evening on a Wednesday. I'm Marcellus Hall. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. Your midweek weather outlook is still to come, and we'll tell you how Eleuthera businesses are flourishing with a little help. The details after this.
Did you know that there are more than 5 ways to pay your Rev bill? Number 1, save yourself the hassle and sign up for e-billing. Have your monthly bill paid automatically. All you have to do is call or email your Rev agent to sign up. Number 2, visit any Alive location. Our agents are standing by and ready to assist you. Have your account information ready. Number 3, use MyRev at my.rev.bs. To create an account, all you need is an account number and an email address. Number 4, there's an app for that. There are a number of apps that you can use to pay your Rev bill like you do other utilities, including the MyAlive app and the MoneyMax app. Number 5, pay by phone. Call our hotline at 601-2200 or toll free at 242-300-2200 and follow the prompts to enter your account number and credit card information, all using your touch-tone telephone. 100% private, 100% safe. That's all, folks. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back to our news. Looks like we may have some hot and sunny days ahead. Greg is back in the Weather Center with the details.
Thanks again, Christina, and good evening, everybody. A very nice day around the islands as a high-pressure system remains in charge. You see that on our satellite view. That high is centered just off the eastern seaboard of the United States, giving us that northeast to easterly winds. Our winds will eventually turn towards the east to southeast tomorrow as that high slides out towards the east, and that will bring in some warmer temperatures over the next couple of days. We do expect another frontal boundary to approach our area by the end of the weekend. That should stall just to the north of the Bahamas, but provide us with some isolated showers. Boating forecast for all areas tonight to tomorrow. We have that caution flag set posted for you guys out there, and we're asking you beachgoers to exercise caution for rip currents, east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide will be at 9:54 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. A look now at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Greg. Businesses on Eleuthera are working smarter by partnering with Cable Bahamas Business Solutions and the Eleuthera Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber recently created a ready-made office space for entrepreneurs and businesses to host conference calls, face-to-face meetings, or rent a private office space. Head of Family Island Business Accounts at Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, Chantel Sands, says the company is committed to helping businesses thrive.
We are able to offer the comprehensive package of all services into one bundle. And so it's important for us to spread the word and let Eleuthera business persons know that we are here to assist them for their every need.
From voice services to robust internet speeds, the CBBS New Business Hub is designed to help businesses flourish.
Business commercials are being seen, the news updates are being seen, as well as we have a screen that plays of various flyers to promote our services from the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions. And on that screen as well, we share testimonials from various businesses to promote what we have to offer on the island.
Well, that does it for our news tonight. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas. A new episode of the new Sawyer Boy TV show starts right now.